That's a lot of building.
Not necessarily as many chains as we can, but in as many chains as we can according to like the criteria that we could deploy on every EVM chain, hypothetically, right? But that's not what we're trying to do. But we do want to deploy on a lot of them. Fraxtal, Neon EVM, which is an EVM on Solana. So like they've deployed contracts which allows you to run EVM code on Solana. It's not compatible with the liquidity layer right now. You need this. They don't call it a bridge, but it looks like a bridge to me. But soon you won't need that. So it'll be like you wouldn't know that you were not on Solana. So we're actually really excited about that one. Chain layer N we're looking at. These are just some of the chains that we were super excited about and think are really interesting, but then also the major ones as well.
And the Arb Bot is something that the Bancor DAO plans to deploy alongside every single one of those to make sure that you guys have an executor and to make sure that, you know, prices stay up to date. Because that's like a huge issue with a lot of these new ecosystems is there's oftentimes like a huge lag between the prices that are on centralized exchanges or on bigger blockchains and what you get on the smaller chains. So having something like Graphene or Velocimeter and the Arb Fastlane in order to keep prices accurate is like super important.
100%.
Well, you talked about Velocimeter version 4. What upgrades when?
So, like before how we were talking about the options tokens and how you can exercise them to NFT or to an LP, and we talked about how like the redemption fee for exercising options goes to the LPs. What V4 does is it basically combines those two, the option to exercise the NFT and the option to exercise to LP. It combines those two into one. So basically the NFT is a locked LP token. The way that it's different is everyone who's an NFT holder is also an LP. And so normally NFT holders earn bribes and trading fees. Now they earn bribes, trading fees, and options redemptions fees. And so
why would someone want to bribe on Velocimeter? What does that do for them?
They get emissions for that pair. Yeah, well, they get votes, and those votes, and with the emissions, then they can, that's kind of the cycle kind of repeats from there. So we're sort of the bribes piece of it, trying to make it sustainable without that piece. Not that we are removing that piece, but the thing that makes those bribes really worth doing is when the value of emissions is high. So like if you can spend say $1,000 and get $2,000 of emissions, this is a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good return for you.
Yeah. So then what really drives the value of emissions, we think, is trading fees ultimately. Like that's the actual sustainable driver of the value of emissions. One of the main problems with Velocimeter up to this point is that we haven't had like a concentrated liquidity solution. So, and therefore we haven't had really high trading fees consistently. Even right now, we have concentrated liquidity with Graphene, using Graphene overlapping orders.
Yep.
But there's some extra things that we need to do to build it and incorporate it more. Like it's incorporated into Velocimeter right now, but there's some things that we need to do to make it smoother and improve the UX and stuff like that. So those will be included in V4 as well.
What role in the market generally is Velocimeter and Graphene? What roles are you looking to fill? Because that's been like a huge issue with a lot of these spaces. Like there was a time where people were trying to fill the role of liquidity provider solutions. Bancor versions 2 and 3 were trying to make it so that new projects could find liquidity. Olympus DAO was doing like this liquidity rental system. And most protocols in general were kind of renting liquidity in the form of just huge liquidity mining rewards. That was like a huge competitive space back a couple of years ago,
Mm.
and it's pretty different now. We don't see a lot of that going on, and maybe that'll just return with the bull market and the mania. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, what role is Velocimeter looking to fill in these ecosystems?
What I see graphene, carbon, like being really good at right now, in terms of what's actually happening in the space, limit orders, range orders, recurring orders for trading, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like a lot of like, especially even for trading like meme coins and like really high volatility coins, but for trading any coin, but like I'm really excited about seeing um, users use like graphene carbon for trading like extremely high volatility meme coins.
Yeah, I'd seen on the Velocimeter Twitter talking about how DGen did a couple of typical moves, the minus 60%, plus 60% for meme coins, and it's like, yeah, if that strategy would have been on Carbon, the executor bot, the Arb Fastlane bot would have caught it, like almost
Yeah,
certainly.
totally. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that this is like one of the main changes that we kind of talked about. That the one of the main reasons why we don't see liquidity mining being as big a deal as what it was is because a lot of these coins don't actually need liquidity. Like meme coins, they generally launch with low liquidity, and then the liquidity grows from people buying the token basically and throwing like more. Like the pool starts with like no ETH in it and a ton of tokens, and then
Yeah.
sort of they run this like the way it works. It ends up with quite a lot of ETH, but they don't necessarily want like super deep, mega deep liquidity because then you don't have like as
People want the insane price action. Yeah. If you've got only, 45, 65K of liquidity in your meme coin, like that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some wild swings.
yeah. So and this is like a quite a high percentage of the actual volume of like on any given day on any given chain,
Yeah.
like quite a reasonable percentage of the volume is actually new, either new or like existing like meme coins that have this quite short, reasonably short life cycle, where like they never actually, a lot of them never actually need to incentivize liquidity per se, or it
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense for them to do that. You kind of see some meme coins doing it, like trying to play in the, like I see meme coins on different solidly um, over time and doing bribes and stuff like that. But a lot of the biggest and best ones have never done that. They've never needed to. Like we definitely want to be a DEX that caters to like more like long-term sustainable DeFi related projects, but we also want to cater to the meme coins and those like coins that are appearing and disappearing like all the time and are constantly driving a ton of volume. Like we want to capture that. We essentially
Yeah.
we want to capture that volume.